Before diving into this incredible story, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell. Every story here has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. In this peaceful and affluent suburb of Crestwood Hills, the morning silence was broken only by the steady chirping of birds and the whir of sprinklers on the perfectly trimmed lawns. Every house looked like it came out of an American dream catalogue: pastel facades, white picket fences, gleaming cars and immaculate driveways. Even the mailboxes gleamed in the Californian sun, as if polished each morning by an invisible hand. But beneath this apparent harmony, another, more insidious form of order reigned: constant surveillance of neighbors. And in this routine symphony, Mrs. Eleanor Whitmore, 72, was one of the most attentive instruments. For 32 years, she had lived alone in this two-story house, inherited from her late husband, a Navy veteran. Every morning, like a sacred ritual, she would settle into her flower-patterned armchair just outside the large bay window, a cup of Earl Grey tea in hand, her eyes scanning the outside world with radar-like precision. It was much more than a hobby for her, it was a mission. She knew every homeowner, every dog, every car in the neighborhood. She knew who had meals delivered, who hired a gardener, and even who had changed internet providers. Nothing escaped her. That morning, at exactly 8:43, something disturbed his little daily theater. A black SUV with tinted windows pulled up in front of the house of Mr. Lemaire, a cybersecurity consultant who frequently traveled. The car wasn't one she recognized, and even less so the people getting out of it. A black woman, perhaps in her 30s, elegantly understated in beige pants and a gray hoodie, got out of the car. She was carrying a black tool bag, a flat briefcase, and a small electronics box Eleanor had never seen before. She calmly knelt down by the outer fiber optic box, took a quick look at her watch, and pulled out a small screwdriver. Eleanor slowly placed her cup in its saucer, lips pressed together. What is this again? No badge. No uniform. She doesn't look like the technicians at Spectrum or AT&T. Her heart sped up slightly. She squinted, trying to read something on the briefcase. Nothing. Not even a logo. She's fiddling with the cables. She's tampering with something. And no one's paying attention, like always. His gaze became hard, almost military. Someone has to do something. This neighborhood is changing, and not for the better. Without further ado, she grabbed her beige landline phone, the same one since 1998, and dialed the 3 digits. 911, this is Operator Megan, what's the emergency? Yes, I would like to report suspicious activity. His voice was assured, almost mechanical. A black woman is tampering with my neighbor's internet cables. I think she's trying to hack into his Wi-Fi network. She doesn't belong here. She arrived in a black SUV, and she's tampering with equipment without any visible identification. She took one last look at the scene. The woman seemed focused, as if she knew exactly what she was doing. Yes, she looks professional, but that's just it. It's often like that, isn't it? Today's crooks look like anything but thugs. The operator wrote down the address. Eleanor hung up, crossed her arms, and continued to observe. She hadn't moved from her chair. But what she had just unleashed would disrupt much more than her morning routine. Minutes later, a black and white patrol vehicle slid silently down the quiet Crestwood Hills street, its emergency lights off, but its imposing presence did not go unnoticed. L'Agent Kevin Brooks, a young, 27-year-old white police officer, recently transferred from the big city, set foot on the ground with a gait that was both cautious and professional. His clear eyes scanned the scene as he took out his notebook and adjusted his equipment around his belt. He slowly approached the black woman kneeling by the fiber optic box. She seemed focused, calm, almost detached from the sudden commotion. "Hello, miss," he said in a calm but firm voice, "I'm Officer Brooks, Crestwood Hills Police Department. Can you please put down what you have in your hand and explain to me what you're doing here?" A neighbor reported suspicious activity. The woman slowly straightened, revealing a serene face, imbued with confidence and professionalism. "Good morning, officer," she replied with a calm and collected voice. "My name is Dr. Maya Jefferson. I'm a cybersecurity engineer and the founder of TechBridge Solutions, a company specializing in home network protection. She pulled an elegantly printed business card from her pocket. The glossy cardboard displayed her name in simple letters, followed by several prestigious certifications, with Google Cybersecurity Certification, NSA Cyber Defense Specialist. A QR code redirected to an official website with its references and customer testimonials. Kevin blinked in surprise. He hadn't expected such a response or such a flawless presentation. I see, he stammered slightly, doubt crossing his mind. I'll still have to check with the owner of the house. He took out his phone and quickly dialed the number noted in his report. A few moments later, the door of the house next door opened. A white businessman in his 50s, wearing a tailored navy blue suit, stepped out, smiling warmly. "Hello, Agent Brooks," he said in a relaxed tone, shaking Maya's hand. "I am Andrew Lemaire, owner of this house." Then he addressed the officer confidently. "Dr. Jefferson is an authority in her field. She recently secured our home network after we were victims of a sophisticated computer attack. She was the one who managed to stop the intrusion just in time, before our bank accounts were compromised. Curious, but above all won over by a dull worry, the feeling you feel when you realize you might have made a mistake, Mrs. Eleanor Whitmore walked out of her house, her heart a little heavy, her hands clasped in front of her. She had changed her sweater, as if that would erase what she had just done. Her gaze at first avoided the young woman's, which was fixed on the impeccable asphalt of the driveway. Maya, still bent over her tools, saw her approach out of the corner of her eye, but said nothing. Eleanor finally cleared her throat, her voice hesitant, almost trembling. I'm sorry. Really. I thought you were doing something illegal. You see, with everything we're seeing in the news, and the recent burglaries, I acted out of caution." She seemed to be searching for words, as if she herself was no longer convinced by his justifications. Her gaze flickered for a moment, finally meeting Maya's. The young woman raised her head slowly, calmly put down her screwdriver, and looked her straight in the eyes. She was neither angry nor hostile, but with a firm and disarming clarity. "I understand, madam," she said in a soft but calm voice. "I understand that you were afraid. That you thought you were doing the right thing. But, sometimes, what you think you see is far from reality." Eleanor said nothing. Maya continued, more serious. "This kind of prejudice, even if unintentional, can put lives in danger. Today, that's me. Calm, collected, professional. But if I had been a young black man with a hoodie and the same tools in my hands, do you think it would have gone as well? Do you think the outcome would have been as peaceful?" A silence fell, heavy and deep. Eleanor felt her throat tighten. Maya's words had just broken something inside her, an illusion of virtuous vigilance, behind which were hidden much older reflexes. Reflexes that she had never questioned. She looked down, ashamed. "You are right," she breathed. "I misjudged. I didn't recognize intelligence, hard work, merit. I only saw color. As if that explained everything. And I feel stupid. Worse than that, even. Small." Maya looked at her for a long time. She could have humiliated this woman, pushed her away, given her a scathing moral lesson. But she didn't. Because it is not fear that educates. It is encounter. She took a step toward Eleanor, then extended her hand. A firm, sincere hand. "Maybe we can change that." Eleanor looked up in surprise. "How so?" "I'm organizing a free conference on cybersecurity and digital inclusion for seniors. It's taking place at the Crestwood Community Center next Saturday. We'll talk about networks, data protection, but also how to live better together in a connected world." "You're welcome." A silence. Then, timidly, Eleanor squeezed his hand. "I'll be there." And in that simple contact, something changed. Not a revolution. Not a miracle. More the first step towards a fresh perspective. A few weeks later, the community center of Crestwood Hills, usually quiet, buzzed with unusual excitement this Saturday morning. Colorful signs announced. TechBridge Seniors, Understanding Digital. Protecting yourself. Connecting. Inside the large room, about 50 elderly people sat in rows of chairs, some with their notebooks, others with tablets still in their original boxes. All were waiting with a certain curiosity for this famous Dr. Maya Jefferson, who was increasingly talked about in both upscale residential neighborhoods and working-class areas. And in the front row, sitting upright in her chair, pen in hand and an attentive look, Mrs. Eleanor Whitmore. She'd put on her favorite lilac cardigan, brought a bottle of water, and taken her little notebook where she usually jotted down medication reminders and forgotten birthdays. Today was for learning, understanding, and maybe fixing. Maya took the stage, dressed simply in a navy blazer and dark jeans. She didn't speak pretentiously, but with a sincere, accessible, and warm passion. She explained how to recognize a fake bank email, how to secure your Wi-Fi password, how to detect a phishing attempt, and most importantly, how the digital world, often perceived as a threat, could become a tool for autonomy and social connection. But she also spoke of perception, of prejudice, of unnecessary vigilance disguised as fear. Cybersecurity isn't just about protecting our data. It's also about learning to understand ourselves better, beyond filters, screens, and appearances. Eleanor listened, captivated. She raised her hands several times to ask questions, about VPNs, about phone scams, but also to share what had happened to her. She began shyly, her cheeks flushed, her voice trembling. A few weeks ago, I called the police on this young woman here, thinking she was going to hack my neighbor's Wi-Fi. I reacted like an idiot. Worse, like an ignorant person. But she didn't insult me or humiliate me. She reached out to me. And today, I'm here, to learn, and to pass on my knowledge. A murmur of emotion ran through the room. Several people nodded. Some were visibly moved by this public confession. That day, Eleanor didn't just leave with acquaintances. She left with a mission. The following months Eleanor became one of the first volunteer ambassadors of the program TechBridge Seniors. She attended every session, encouraged her book club friends to come, and helped other retirees set up their emails and install antivirus software. She wasn't a techie, no. But she was the face of Second Chance. She sometimes went to other neighborhoods, even to centers she would never have dared to visit before. She told her story. Not to absolve herself, but to inspire others to take the reverse path from judgment to understanding. A few months later in the auditorium of Los Angeles City Hall, the lights went out as a spotlight illuminated the stage. An announcer announced, "Tonight, we present the Community Initiative of the Year Honor Award to Dr. Maya Jefferson, for her exceptional work in inclusive cybersecurity for seniors and underserved neighborhoods." Maya took the stage to rapturous applause. She wore a simple suit, but her eyes shone with emotion. Among the audience, Eleanor Whitmore, sitting in the third row, was the first to stand up and applaud her. The others followed. Her face was bathed in tears, but also with a discreet pride. She no longer felt like the old distrustful one, but the conscious ally, living proof that it is never too late to unlearn and rebuild. She hugged her bag, looked at Maya, and thought. Appearances can be deceiving, yes. But an open mind can fix more than just Wi-Fi. It can fix the human connection.